Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Last episode I finished the solar system here. Got a couple other things I'm going to do here. I'm planning on making like a plexiglass cabinet around this to finish it off, but everything's working great on the solar system. And since then, I've also put in the diesel heater here. You can see I've got the tank mounted here. I've got the pump under the van to minimize the noise from the clicking. You can see how I finished off the heater vent here. Put on an angle, that way this can be swiveled to wherever you need it. And also, instead of just nailing down the top of it, I use these screws because if I ever need to pull off the top to service the diesel heater, I'll be able to do that. And I have a whole video on the diesel heater install. I'll put a link for that in the description if you want to check out that. There was only 2 changes I made since the last video I did on that, and I'll show you that right now. A couple people mentioned in the comments about the mounting the muffler. It needs to be up and down like this because it has this tiny little drain hole right here, and you want any water to be able to drain out like that. I'm not sure how much that matters, but I did mount it this way. I didn't show that in the diesel heater video. And there's just one other thing that's a little different than the last time. The other difference is with the controller itself. And I still have the protective plastic covering on here, so you can't really see the screen too well. But on the older diesel heater monitors, to prime the pump, you have to hold these 2 buttons down, and then it'll say H off, and then you hit the up button. That'll change it to H on, and that primes the pump, and that'll just run through a cycle and eventually stop, and then you could fire up the pump for the first time. This is only the first time when you install it. I guess they changed the monitor a little bit. It's kind of weird with these diesel heaters. You don't know what you're gonna get coming from China. They're like a little different every time. But on this one, to prime it, you hold down the up button, and you have to keep holding it down. As soon as you let go, it stops priming. So it's helpful if you have somebody else like under the van over there checking to see the air bubbles coming out so you know when to let go. I didn't even have that, but I just held it down for like 45 seconds. Then I fired it up and it worked, and everything's working good now. So those are only 2 changes. The other thing I've done since the last video was put in the bed, as you can see here. And it's not 100% finished because there'll be panels on both sides of the bed here, which will stop the mattress from sliding off if you stop short. You can see here I did construct the bed a little bit differently. It's almost all with the Craig screws, which makes it really strong. You can see how it's connected there on the side, and then how the solar cabinet is integrated into also being the bed frame. I did change one thing. Originally, when I was building the solar cabinet, I had like a little piece of wood here. The cabinet like ended here, but I removed that piece and I just put this 1 2x3 all the way across. I think it's a little stronger that way. That way, this 2x3 supported here and here. Eventually there'll be a panel here with the outdoor water heater. Water tank is just kind of sitting in place with some insulation behind it. Also, I put in the blackout curtains, and I have a video on that as well. I'll put the link for that in the description from the last time I did that. But these things work really nicely. Just slide across, and they're kind of insulated. And all the heat comes in from that front window, so that makes a big difference. But what I'm going to work on today is installing the wall cabinets here. I've got 2 for this side and 1 for that side. And I have a whole video on that as well, so I'm not going to share all the details on that again, but I'll put a link for that video. So this is how the cabinets come that I use. You have to kind of assemble them yourself, which makes it a lot easier actually, because we need to alter the back to follow that gap there. So the first step is to make a little template like this, and you can see how that fits perfectly right there. And this is what I'm going to use to alter the back of the cabinets. So I take this template, bring it to the back here, and you can see how I followed the edge there, top and bottom. And then this front piece here will go on there. The only other thing I need to do is just disassemble this one more time and cut this off right here. And then I'm going to use, with the Craig screws, 2 of these, one on the top and bottom, to fasten this to the wall there. So I decided to also put a cabinet on this side. So I had to pull that crown molding off temporarily. And I just put this little piece in ahead of time. It's easier to put the crown molding in first, and I'll just butt the cabinet up against it. And now I can screw this in. You can see this one little rib here is gonna be in the way. And I've notched for it here. And then I also covered it with some carpet. And because of that notch, I also had to lower this piece of wood down a little bit instead of putting it all the way up to the top. And I measured, and this is as high as I can make it go. And then after it's up there on the inside of the cabinet, I could put a little trim molding or something to just hide that tiny little gap, which is only going to be this big when it's up there. Okay, all the cabinets are up, and you can see I put in the crown molding, painted it, filled all the nail holes. Everything's looking a lot better now. I also put this little scribe molding in to cover that little gap that was here because of that little bump out over there. The cabinet didn't want to sit perfectly up here. And I also put in the cabinet locks here. I'm going to put a piece of wood over that to cover that. There'll just be a little piece of white wood that'll cover this, so you won't see that carpeted thing there. Look in here. There'll be a little molding here that I'm going to put to cover that as well. And these are the 2 base cabinets. I've got an 18-inch drawer base that's gonna go here, and then a 36-inch sink base. It'll come out to about here. And I feel like in this video I'm not showing you so much of the process. I keep saying I have another video for it. So for the assembling of these cabinets, I'm gonna show you how it's done. Basically, you just kind of wave your hand like this, and that's it. They're assembled just like that. It's pretty easy. And I have a couple end panels over there that I need to cut to the side here, and I'll put another one on the other side there. What I normally like to do, might kind of seem backwards, but I always just do it this way. Once I just put 2 screws in just to hold this kind of in place. And I'm going to take my pencil line, make a mark here. And then from here down, I'm going to remove the wood shiplap, just so I can push the cabinets in that extra like 5/8 of an inch so it could sit tight against the door here. And then I'll just need to cut a little hole for that little bump out and for the wires to come through. And then also I have the gas line right there. So I'm going to need to drill, I'll probably just drill like a 4-inch hole over here so I can access that so it's not so tight. And once I do all that, I can screw it all in and it'll be good to go. So first step, just going to take a pencil line, go across here, and then I'll use the Dremel to make like a nice neat straight cut, and then also cut it straight down along the bed there and remove all that, and then we can screw it right in. Okay, check it out. This is all installed, screwed in. I've got the end panels on and everything. Got the end panel on that side there. Had to make the cutout for the bump out there, and then I just made like a 4-inch hole here. That way I'll have plenty of room to access the fittings and everything and turn that valve on and off so it wouldn't be too tight. In hindsight, I should have made that pipe come out higher, but I probably could change that later, but I think it's fine like that. It's not a big deal. This other side here will be the switch for the electronic valve for the gray water tank. So that'll go in later. I'm not gonna put that in right now. This is the water pump switch, and then this is the lights here. The front 4 lights up top. The rear 2 lights are on this switch here. And I think that's about it for today. I'm just going to finish off putting in the 2 locks for the cabinets. And then I have something different I'm going to use for the drawers. It's going to be like a RV lock clamp thing from the inside that you can't see. And then I'll just have a pull on it. I'm also going to just drill a few ventilation holes in the bed here. Small holes throughout, just so it could breathe. And next episode, I'll be installing the refrigerator and building a really nice cabinet around it. So stay tuned for that. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I started this episode cleanly shaven. The rain here in California has been slowing me down, making things take a little bit longer than normal. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on the video if you enjoyed this content. It does help the channel out a lot. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because YouTube doesn't like to show you my videos unless you hit the notification bell, so hit the notification bell. And next episode, we're going to be installing the refrigerator, so you don't want to miss that. And that's about it for today. I'll see you guys next time. Later.